Hi, this is Chef Kayvon, and we're gonna have a holiday edition of cooking. Today we're gonna cook with chayote or Mirliton. So this is a chayote, it's a squash, and they usually grow in the winter time, or the fall, late fall, and springtime. What we're gonna do with this, we're gonna stuff them with shrimp and ham. It's gonna be delicious. So let's get started. All right, guys. First step is get 4 Mirlitons, and we are going to boil them. You have to boil them for about 40 minutes to an hour, it depends. You'll know when they're ready when you could get a fork. And while the Mirliton chayote is cooking, let's go ahead and chop 2 large onions, finely chopped, and get them ready. All right, so the chayote you want to do now is cut them in half this way. All right, and then you see it's going to have a seed there, so you want to get the seed and you want to get the seed out. So on both sides you get the seed out, just like that. And then you come over here and just get the pulp that's in there, just get it out and put it in a dish, right? Because what we're going to do next is get this, and we're going to sort of smash it all together as much as possible, and we will mix it with butter, and we will add the shrimp and the ham, and then we will add some breadcrumbs to finish it. Okay, what you want to do also is cook about 2 pounds of 31-32 shrimp. And cook them in some type of like Cajun seasoning. Okay, so chop the shrimp. So chop the shrimp in small little pieces because they're gonna go inside of the squash. So you want them in there, not too small, but small enough so it's bite-sized. So it's not too big in there. Okay, so now we're gonna the squash, the chayote or the Mirliton. So just squash it like this. Upon squashing up, we're gonna heat it up, put the stick of butter in place, and well, actually it's 1 stick of butter, yeah, 2 sticks. Well, actually I'm doubling this recipe. And so we melted. I'm gonna get the melted butter. And we have the squash that's been squashed, or the chayote that's been squashed. And we're gonna pour the butter on top of this. Just like that. Put it all in there and just mix it up. And you know, have the heat in medium, you know, to get it cooking. So you do this. All right, so form now, and we'll get some chopped ham and pour it in. Okay, so let's get that mixed in with the chayote or the Mirliton. So we get that all in there. And we're gonna get onions, right? So it's 2 whole onions, as I mentioned earlier. We want it in there, put all the onions in there, and make sure it's finely chopped because you don't want any big chunks of onion while you're eating the Mirliton. So that's why you want it finely chopped. Then we're gonna add the shrimp. So we chopped the shrimp. Let's add it in here. So salt to it, so we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. Well, that's because I'm doubling the recipe again, but just follow the recipe that I have posted there. And then we are going to add 2 teaspoons of thyme leaves. So we're gonna add 4 bay leaves as well. And you let it simmer for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, come back and we'll add. We've had it simmering for about 20 minutes. We want to get 4 cups of breadcrumbs, dried breadcrumbs. Just pour it on, just like that. Then we also want to get 2 teaspoons of black pepper. Now, this is where if you like it a little bit more spicy, you could put in some Cajun spice instead of black pepper, or a combination of both, of black pepper and Cajun spice. So now we're gonna mix this together. So we're gonna mix this just like this. While it's still in medium heat, we're gonna mix this together, and then we're gonna let it simmer for an additional 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, then you see how it dries up with the breadcrumbs? Then we are going to go ahead and put it in a casserole and bake it at 375 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay? Alright, so we've about 10 more minutes, and I was constantly, moving it around. I cheated a little bit and I tasted it. It's delicious. You're gonna love this. So now the next step is let's put it. So we're gonna get some and just put it into casserole, just like this. And then you can just take your time. There's no hurry. This does get kind of wet. It's a wet dish with the squash in it, so it does not freeze well. Just giving you a heads up, so if you do want to freeze some of it, it's not going to freeze well with it. We put the casserole in. Let's just take this one little more piece, and I'm going to add that to a different casserole. So we have that there. And then here we have some breadcrumbs. So you want to add some breadcrumbs to the top, right? Just like this, before you put it in the oven. So you're going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 375 degrees, and you are going to bake it for about 45 minutes. So after you put the breadcrumbs on top of the casserole, you're gonna put it in the oven at 375 for 30 to 45 minutes. Just take a look at it. Once it starts browning, that's when you know it's done. With that said, have a great day. Just have this for the holidays. It's one of my favorite dishes to cook during Thanksgiving and during Christmas. Cook it anytime when Chayote is available. With that said, ooh, it's so good.